the past couple of years, we have seen so many companies lash out at the customer base. They need to swipe their credit cards on their product. And unfortunately, Capcom has been one of the latest companies to do this. They have been very angry at gamers for criticizing Monster Hunter Wilds. They had even canceled a discussion about the optimization of this game because they have been facing quite a bit of backlash. But a lot of companies view backlash as harassment when that definitely isn't the case. And now we also have Japanese analysts saying that gamers' moral conduct hasn't kept up with the times. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I understand as an individual developer, you might be very proud of the product that you have created, but ultimately, you are not the one buying this. It is because of gamers that you have a job, and it is because of gamers that you should be striving to make the best product possible. And Capcom has definitely made a lot of questionable decisions over the years, and we've criticized them for those moves that they've made. And recently, Monster Hunter Wilds has been facing a lot of backlash because when it first came out, it was buggy, it was broken, it was poorly optimized, but then they said that they were doing this big update. It was going to fix all the problems, and while they did fix, let's say, 5 problems, they broke 5 others. So really, they didn't make it any better, and gamers were voicing their distaste for this whole entire situation. Everything surrounding this game so far has been kind of a nightmare, and the scores had tanked for this game, but instead of just admitting that they haven't done their best job, they have blamed gamers. They had updated their harassment policy and said that gamers are going too far, and I'm not saying that no gamer has sent Capcom or developer like threats on social media. There are always bad apples in every bunch, but a lot of the time now we see companies unfairly labeling criticism as harassment, and now we've got Japanese analysts saying that gamers' moral conduct hasn't kept up with the times. So persisting technical issues and a lackluster game loop have resulted in harsh criticism of Capcom's Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, when you are charging $70 or $80 for a video game now, you are going to have to provide a full experience. And I know not every single company has gone to $80 games, right? This wasn't an $80 game, but that's the future that we're headed to. The game currently has an overwhelmingly negative rating on Steam based on 20,000 player reviews from the past month, and its official social media channels are swamped with players' demands for fixes. However, the criticism has escalated beyond the game itself in certain instances, with developers reportedly being personally attacked and threatened. Of course, this is not okay, and this should never happen, but if we're just saying you guys suck at your jobs, that shouldn't be deemed harassment either. The issue seems to be particularly severe in Japanese online spaces, as the topic has even earned coverage from major national newspapers like Sankei Shimbun. Hope I'm saying that right. Earlier this month, Capcom issued a statement regarding its anti-consumer harassment policy, in which it said its employees have been faced with harassment, threats of harm, and threats of business disruptions. Furthermore, some of these instances were supposedly directed at individuals personally, addressing developers by name. Now, I personally haven't seen any evidence of this. I haven't seen any screenshots on social media that highlights employee names being used against Capcom or regarding the Monster Hunter Wild situation. I'm not saying it's not happening, but I haven't seen it either. Capcom warned it would be taking legal action in cases when criticism goes beyond the scope of socially acceptable standards. In a few days following this announcement, Capcom also canceled a CEDEC lecture during which its engineers were supposed to hold a presentation about Wild's optimization. I have to press X to doubt on the fact that they canceled it because they were worried. I think that they canceled it because this game isn't optimized. I don't know what they were planning on talking about unless they were planning on admitting that this game is really poorly optimized, and this isn't what you should do when you're making a game. There are some comments that this outlet has used, saying, "Get on your knees, incompetent scum." These are just some of the many words of abuse hurled online towards specific creators behind Monster Hunter Wilds. And although this kind of crude language is nothing new to gamers, it is increasingly becoming targeted at individuals working in game companies on a personal level, which makes the issue a lot more serious. The Times talked to a game industry analyst at Toyo Securities who commented, "It's always been common for some fans to lash out when a game's quality doesn't meet expectations. Again, when you are paying full price for an experience, it shouldn't launch buggy and broken." What other industries launch products that do not work, that are consumable? You can't actually play a video game in some instances because it's so buggy and so broken. I get that it's entertainment, and at the end of the day, it's just a game, but it's also a product that somebody paid their hard-earned money for. It should be usable. But in recent years, companies have increasingly put individual creators in the spotlight as a means of marketing, which has turned them into public targets. Yasuda goes on to note that with how widespread social media has come to be, society now demands the same level of moral conduct online as it does in real life, but when it comes to gaming, user awareness hasn't quite kept up with this shift. Meanwhile, there has also been an increasing tendency among Japanese game companies to publish policies against customer harassment. Square Enix, Sega, and Level 5 have all said that basically they will sue individuals online for criticizing their companies and their decisions, which just doesn't seem easy to me. I get that they want to put these in place in case somebody does push the line and does push the limits, but unfortunately, with the online space, criticism can very easily be labeled harassment. If somebody online is called stupid and a bad developer, somebody could take that as harassment and say that they are being harassed. There's not some clear and concise guidelines on what constitutes harassment, and obviously, you can very easily tell if somebody pushes the limits. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but on the flip side, we often see companies using the word harassment as a way to try to stop all criticism and trying to use it as a line of defense. Look at what happened with something like Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? The lead actress of that said that, "Oh, Lucasfilm prepared me for all of the racism and the sexism I was going to face." And then they tried to kill any negative conversation surrounding the show with that shield, using that actress's gender and skin color as a shield. And it is hard to trust companies nowadays, especially ones that abuse customers' wallets. See how easy it is to use that word? Well, they're financially abusing us because they're not giving us a full-blown product that is worth the funds that they are asking for it. It's a slippery slope, but yeah, they at this point haven't actually sued anybody. I think they just put this in place in case they need it, but right now Japanese analysts are saying that gamers' moral conduct hasn't kept up with the times, when really they should be questioning why companies feel it's okay to scam us. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.